Hello, my friends. I am Jacob Israel. Welcome to Jacob's Ladder, another incredibly crazy live
Defend
show.
the natural world you love by
So
donating
happy
to
that
the
you
Nature
joined me.
Conservancy. At this critical point,
I did not
we need
expect
people
to
like
be
you
here
to
today, but here I am. And I'm glad that all of you are as well. Do me a favor and give me the old mic check. Want to make sure that you can hear me okay. Because we're going to be talking about some out-of-this-world stuff. Yeah, that's right. So smash the like and get ready to go. Because if you've watched the last couple of shows, you're going to find that, well, it seems like what we do here continues to progress right afterwards. So, like, we'll talk about something, and then there it will be. Almost inexplicably. And it's a good reminder for me because my channel went viral because I had some goofy dream about meteors and all sorts of other worlds, weird stuff that I was never into, and I never thought I'd talk about or share because I was a respected theologian. Well, that's all changed, as you could tell by the thumbnail. And today we're going to find that maybe Noah's flood. Well, maybe there's a reason why Elon tweeted out a picture of the Ark being his spaceship. That's right. Yeah. So that was my show right above. That was from yesterday. And hopefully we don't have the same issues we had yesterday because it was the weirdest thing. You know, I was talking about cloning and aliens and like a zoo, space zoo. We're going to get to all of that today. So it's just peculiar. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, right up there, I said it's a zoo. The day I did this was on December 3rd. The reason I shared that is a little breadcrumb, and you see the alien in my blown head, right? It's like, whoa, my mind is blown by all this kooky stuff. Well, because there was an article that had to do with the show that I was actually working on to share with all of you. I didn't really get into it as much as I wanted to, but scientists are proposing building this 50-acre like bubble, this like a dome. I know a lot of you in the live chat probably are very familiar with the dome. Interesting. So, after we talked about the weirdness, right, up above with, Ye and the other guy and the that guy over there with the symbol that people say was a terrible symbol, but it has to do with the Raalism, the worship of, like aliens created us. And we need to now prepare an embassy because they're going to return, right? Interesting. Has to do with cloning. Weird. Weirder still is the next day, Kanye goes out and questions whether or not Elon is a genetic hybrid, I guess a clone of sorts. He didn't really come out boldly and say that that's exactly what it is. He kind of alluded to it, if you will. But you wonder if, maybe there's more to the story. I don't know. Elon in the past has said some weird things. He's said that perhaps he is part Chinese. In the past, he's put a tweet out about that, but this is what Kanye wrote. Am I the only one who thinks Elon could have been half Chinese? Have you ever seen his pics as a child? Take a Chinese genius and mate them with a South African supermodel, and we have an Elon. I say an Elon because they probably made 10 to 30 Elons, and he's the first genetic hybrid that's stuck. Well, let's not forget about so-and-so, and he goes on. But it's just weird, because we did a whole show about cloning. Cloning, and also the idea of like seeding life and seeding other planets. we're going to talk about Noah's Ark today in a way that you probably never heard before. Going to tie it into the things that are going on right now in the world and out there with the DART mission. Today alone, we have just so many warnings of this guy is going to zip by, this guy is going to zip by. We'll get into that. But this show is not to scare you. It's not to scare you, okay? Because I believe there was a literal ark, much like there could be a literal ark today, and just like his little tweet. Well, before we get into that, let's just take a look at this article that I tried to share. We already got 1,000 people here. This is awesome. Do me a favor. Less than half of you have hit the like button. You know what happens when you hit that like. A lot of people come here. And the show is going to get really interesting. I promise you. So just X out of that chat and just hook Jacob up, will you? All right, so this was what I shared on December 3rd. Scientist proposes extraterrestrial nature reserve. That would be like what Elon is proposing in the tweet that he put out on, I guess it was the 5th, the spaceship. Ironically, this article right here, which you see, there's kind of a diagram of what it would look like. And as the article goes, it's freaky. They show pictures of Mars, and it looks like there's domes there already. Some people say that there are already flights going on to that place. I, of course, have no inside information. I don't know. But I did say it's a zoo. Like it's an alien zoo. I did say it. And then here you go from the 3rd then to the 5th. Starship takes beings of Earth to Mars. Which, ironically, is exactly what that essay is about. Stranger still. Take a look at the article, A Forest Bubble on Mars, and look at that quote right there. This was today. I guess they're sharing and they're kind of marrying these two stories together. Now, mind you, when I shared the story and I said it's a zoo and then I did a whole show about cloning and everything else and aliens and all this stuff, right? There were no connections made. But now there are. And the connection was that here you have a zoo, forest bubble. And Noah's Ark coming from, of course, Elon Musk. This is weird. What's weirder still is that I used a bubble, a dome, in my actual thumbnail. If you could take a look at it, look at the top. Elon standing in the center of it like he was the master of it all. This is basically what I was envisioning. And you'll see in the background behind Elon, there is a dinosaur. Look at the picture below it. That was the original picture. And then everything else I share on top of it. Domed building. Domed. Strange. In the chat, if you've been here for a while, you can say, well, what else is new, right? Of course, we talk about things like Noah's Ark and we talk about all of this stuff and we talk about it. And then next thing you know, there's Elon sharing out the exact same thing. Now, weirder still is that I saw a tweet from Marf. Marf was excited too. You know, a lot of people sent me this image. The image, of course, if you take a look at it right there, it's the lower right-hand image. That's what he shared. Starship takes beings of Earth to Mars. And just to put in perspective that Starship, I kind of showed you a little picture just to get an idea of how this is a big spacecraft, right? There's no little rinky-dinky thing. This is no joke. It's no joke. Or it's all nonsense. And none of it's real. And it's all make-believe. Either way, it doesn't bother me. I want us to extrapolate the spiritual message here, and there is a big one. There's a big one, and it's going to really encourage you and inspire you. But Marf, if you don't know who Marfoogle News is and Marfoogle TV, if you don't know, you know. If you're on my channel, you know. Marf's been he's a good friend of the channel for a long time. So someone said, you're not Noah, dude, to Elon, right? Elon here is trying to save the planet, save people, put people on the Starship and get them to Mars. And he's like, you're not Noah, dude. I don't think Elon was saying, look, I'm Noah. I think he was just saying, Hey, just so you know, I like to give everybody little clever clues. I've been paid a lot of money by NASA and everything else to be at. I probably was paid. Maybe something is coming. And maybe I'm going to put this out here so that you all can get your affairs in order. Okay. He could say that. You know, I'm not saying he is saying it because, of course, I don't know. But it would make sense. You know, you'd want to have a kind of a backup plan for humanity. You're not Noah, dude. And, of course, Adam says, I don't think it'll be funny at all when you find out he might just be. It's not going to be funny. It's going to be like that image that he shared, which, by the way, a lot of people were commenting about. Let me see if I have a closer picture of it. Yeah, if you look up top, you see that the very, very top, that little snippet, those are guys holding guns, right? Everybody wants to get on and get off the planet, and they're like, not going to happen. Get back. So, you know, we got to take it as it comes. But I find all of this incredibly interesting. So I say, okay, Lord, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, like, what am I supposed to do? And I remind myself of how important the story of Noah is, and that there are more facets to this story that you're not even aware of, and that it has to do with you. Like when that same word ark, by the way, and we're going to get into a Bible study at the end. I still got some, you know, really interesting stuff for those people that aren't, you know, don't want to find the mysteries of everything that is hidden away and given, inspired, and to be revealed by God to people who are asking for the truth. If you don't want to stick around for it, it's fine. I got the cool stuff about stuff that's coming in and things that are happening in a moment. But let me just get this out of the way. Moses was placed in an ark. It wasn't a very big one. It was a little one, but it's the same word. It's the same word. It's a picture. It's a picture like we're the ark, okay? We're the ark when the storms come. You got to batten down the hatches. I've been sharing a lot of videos over the years about Noah and the flood, and I have essays on this at my website, jacobisrael.com, right down there. You can subscribe. It's free. Everything's free. Everything's free. If you would like to support and help out, I have a Patreon. All the links are in the description. All these little things that you can do, huge help, but you don't have to. I do ask that you share and you hit like and you do these simple things because they're very helpful. But so, you know, the fact that we have the same word for these two very different things, there's a mystery there. I'm not saying that there wasn't a literal basket, and I'm not saying that there wasn't a literal ark. Okay? I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is there's more to the story. It's going to blow your mind because I guarantee you haven't been taught that. But before, I know that a lot of people are more interested in all of the crazy, crazy stuff going on. You know that, you ever hear of a Dyson sphere? It's a big contraption. It goes around the sun. And, you know, they theorize, well, this guy, Dyson, I believe this is his name. He theorizes that, you know, you can capture the sun and use the energy of it and all that jazz. And, well, he also has another little theory. And it's about one gigantic egg, right? Huge egg. You know how I've talked about eggs on the show a lot? Size of an ostrich egg. And I have that ostrich egg in like so many thumbnails. So many. It's very symbolic. I was just actually watching a show and their finale took place at a party. And at the party, it was like extravagant and it was like a gala. They had an egg and an octopus's tentacles were coming out. Something weird about all that. You should go back and look at every video that I have an octopus in the thumbnail. You should watch because it's freaky stuff. But so Freeman Dyson, Freeman Dyson, son of Di, he calls it the Noah's Ark egg. And basically, you know what it is? You just use miniaturization to spread life in the universe. You know, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that's going to become reality. How crazy will that be, right? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. That's what an adventure that was. The Noah's Ark egg is an object. and it looks like an ostrich egg, few kilograms. But instead of having a single bird inside, it has embryos, a whole planet's worth of species of microbes and animals and plants, each represented by one microbe. That could happen. That could be the ark. This is what a lot of people have deduced. The pyramids, all of these ancient structures. Listen, we're either in some kind of a simulation, which I'm cool with because intelligent design creates, and there would still be a God. If you think about your literal temporal life anyway, this is not really it. It says that we're seated in heavenly places. So for a moment, picture your life, like I like to say, you're the star of a movie or you're the lead character in a very, very realistic virtual reality game. And the goal is to love and to overcome and to find out who you are and to find out that you are the creation and you are part of the creator. You are the child that forgot. So we have all these incredible stories that try to reveal a deeper meaning. Noah is one of them. Noah and the flood is one of them. But this could literally happen, and we see it in a lot of really cool like sci-fi movies. They have the embryos and everything else. Raised by Wolves on HBO was pretty cool. It was a cool show, and I believe that they had a very similar principle going down. But here's the thing. Why are they so concerned? Like, why is Elon's Ark, the Mars-bound starship that could save Earth's creatures, as he claims, why is this such an important thing right now? A couple of years ago, they weren't really talking about much, right? And then we had a lot of weird things happen. We had like things shut down where the big telescopes where they'd look out, where they'd be like warning systems were shut down, or other telescopes like the Arecibo, is that the name of it? Broken, like weird things. The Hubble smashed, the bits, all of these weird things. Like either something's proactively trying to keep everybody from seeing what's coming, or we've seen what's coming and now they're trying to shut it down so nobody else can see what's coming. And they're like, hey, Elon, here, take this money. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling. And he's like, cool. And in a couple of years, I'm going to share a tweet after Jacob does a show about the very same thing. Timing. Now, maybe that's not the case, but it would make sense. Should have a backup plan, right? You don't want to just, you want to be smart. You don't want to live in fear, but you also want to make sure, look, got a couple of weeks worth of water just in case, or, a couple of weeks worth of food just in case because storms happen. You don't have to live in fear. I'm not living in fear. But I think that there's a reason why this is a thing. And I think that we're going to probably find out why, especially when it just seems like more and more and more, all we're hearing about is asteroid danger, asteroid looms, asteroid this, meteor that. There was just a huge meteor that went over Pittsburgh. Another one over Canada. Weird. All of this stuff. Remember the DART mission? NASA's DART mission? I brought you all the way through it from when they were conceiving it. What's weird is I got into all that stuff because of a crazy dream that I had that I didn't want to talk about. A lot of you just probably, you remember this. Didn't want to talk about it. I wasn't interested in the topic of aliens. I just wanted to talk about the deeper meaning of the scriptures to set people free, And, well, one thing leads to another, and I know I have to share it. I have a terrible nightmare about it. All of these things had to come together. I mean, perfectly, believe me. So many to line up that I had to have a terrible nightmare to finally get me to do this video that has to do with a planet called Nibiru, Planet X, or Gopolis, right? Has to do with Uranus, of all things. Ironically, Anu, the Sky Father. Anu, the Anunnaki, those that from heaven fell. We were just talking about the Ryalists and Ryalism, remember? And I was making the connection between the two about how the Anunnaki did the same thing. This is Noah's Day. The aliens, the fallen ones, the sons of God, the Nephilim. They created the Nephilim. They came down and they started doing things that they shouldn't have been doing. And because of it, the earth became pretty corrupt, and there was a lot of violence and a lot of terrible things. The world, a lot like today, not great, not like very, very few people really honoring God, very few. In fact, he found like Noah and his household. There was only 8. 8. Like, have you gotten $8 for your Twitter thing? The Ouroboros, 8. 8. It's all over the place. I don't need to recap. But news, 170-foot space rock headed towards Earth. But ironically, it's only 6.6 million kilometers today away. We have to stop worrying so much. But we gotta look. We gotta keep watch. That's what the scriptures say. You gotta keep watch. You gotta keep looking at stuff. And instead of letting it get you so down, because sometimes it gets me down. Because, I don't want to believe that a bunch of meteors are going to crash. And I don't want to believe that there's going to be a soon am I. I want to see that happen spiritually. I don't want to see the other one. That sounds different. That's why I don't even want to say it. I don't want to see any of these things happen. Who wants to see tough times? But do you think the world's going to change any other way? Do you think people are going to come to God humbly in their heart? Just people are so angry now, so divided. They want everybody else to pay. Such a hostile time. Such a hostile time. So let me just share a little bit for those that don't know, so I'm not making up stories. But you got to understand something, right? You have to understand something. Look at me, by the way. Look at my crooked teeth. Don't look at the crooked teeth. Don't look at the crooked teeth. There we go. I'll put it on. So this is from years ago, 6 years ago. And the reason why I look stressed out is because I am stressed out. For months prior, I had been getting a prompting to talk about Nibiru, a return of the gods, if you will, the Anunnaki, the return, this great battle that's supposed to take place. And I didn't believe in it, didn't want to talk about it, but one thing after another led me to this moment where I literally had this terrible dream, and I'm so far gone at this point because there's so much coincidence that I knew that I just had to get it out there. Now, like, I only had 500 subscribers at this point, I was working on, the rewrite of my book, and I wanted to re-release it because the first, group of individuals, it just didn't work out. And I had just done a great speaking engagement. I probably should be talking to all of you over here, make it more interesting. I just did this great speaking engagement. I was just starting to be taken seriously, right? And, somebody flew me out, put me up in a hotel, right? I'm really wonderful people. And then all this stuff happens where I'm like, oh, it's going to be so bad in a couple of years. And, not only is going to be martial law, there's this, that, the other thing, all these things, goofy things that I was worried about when I was young that now are here today. The thing that isn't here is, a bunch of rocks flying into the, the ocean or anything else. And let's hope that that's not the case. Let's hope that this is a spiritual thing. But just so you can get an idea, this is it. So, I'm not making up a story. You're going to have to give me the heads up. And so, and last night I have a terrible dream where I'm at the emergency room, a building much like this, which is really disturbing. And we're there for Ethan. And in the dream, basically, we start seeing meteors flying and, and it was almost like it looked like scary times were coming because of this. And but that wasn't really the dream. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. The point of the dream was that in the dream I felt like if I had shared about it, if I had just... So, I don't know if I got everything. See, I can't actually hear what's being said. So tell me in the chat if you actually heard any of that. And we got almost 2,000 people, by the way, here. Please hit the like. Yeah, this is good. Got a lot. So it was, it really stressed me out. Like I thought this was coming, Now here's what's weird is that I said I had 500. I didn't want to talk about this I didn't want to talk about this at all with anybody, much less go on and share it with my 540 subscribers that I had worked since 2008 to get. I knew that one day that was the thing, was I knew one day God had a plan for me, but I'm like, surely it doesn't involve me talking about aliens. Okay? So you got to understand my heart here. I had so much happen, and I had such a terrible dream that I literally thought that if I didn't do this, it would be the equivalent of like Jonah, like go to Nineveh. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. Go to Nineveh. I don't want to do it. And it was like, finally, it's like, Jonah, you better go or else. And that's kind of what I felt. So I shared it. Now, here's where it gets weird. And this is why I think that that this dream could be true. I don't know if it is. I'm hoping it's just a spiritual thing. The stars falling from the heavens. I could see this as being something very spiritual. Because my channel went viral after that. The very next video I did on this subject freaked me out. It got like 1 million views within like a day. It was the most strange thing. And the reason was because I did that video and I got it out of the way and I said, Lord, I repent. Next time that I feel inspired to share something, I'm not going to care what people think. I'm not going to care what people think. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Now we know today, 2022, they say aliens are real. Demons, extra dimensional beings, whatever you want to call them. Future us. Some people believe it's future us. But my point is it's being acknowledged today. Back then, right? And yeah, I got made fun of and mocked and everything else because you can see, you go back and you watch that video, I was very concerned. Still am. So I get to thinking, he shares this flood thing. I get to thinking, maybe it's time for me to remind everybody that, the days ahead could be rocky. And there's a lot right now in the news that kind of seems that way. Today's news, I mean, this is really, really why I say these things get to be freaky for me. We're talking about, Noah's flood. I'm looking into it. Now, if you see to the right, you see that's a statue of the Pope holding an asteroid above his head, about to throw it into a pool of blood. I did a video. If you want, you can go watch that video. Why was that the news back then? And then if you look, something big is happening. It's been happening. And now today, they're talking about the asteroid impact that may have caused a mega tsunami on Mars 3.4 billion years ago. I don't know how do you calculate that? I think people just write stories. Just we'll just throw a dart on the wall. How do you know? How long? I don't know. They show you the footage of this stuff. It's like it's kind of silly. But it's interesting that today, of all days, that's going on. Weird. Weirder still is that as it was in the days of Noah, how much more days of Noah does it get when the most influential, wealthiest, probably most powerful person on the planet? If you're watching Elon, keep being a great person. Do good, please, for the love of God. Let love lead you and guide you. He's sharing out the days of Noah. Well, see, this is the day of the Son of Man. This is the day when Christ rises. Now, the flood is not what you think. It's a very spiritual thing as well. Back in the day, I had this great, very, I thought, encouraging message. If you look at the very center of the screen, it says a revelation of Noah in 2020. The flood has come. And then you see it says 17,000 views 6 days ago. Okay? That was 6 days from the actual video you were looking at right there at 3 days ago. So it was 3 days exactly. I did this video at the height of the virus of the crown. I couldn't get away from the rainbow. And so I did this really great video, I thought, that was just encouraging. And I said to everybody, God made a covenant, and it was a rainbow. I said, the flood's upon us, talking about, the virus of the crown. But there's a promise for us, and that's a rainbow. And I said, and then I encouraged everybody not to get scared and not to get freaked out. I said, the rainbow was coming to Noah's Ark. The rainbow was coming to Noah's Ark. 3 days later, there's a picture of a literal rainbow that landed on Noah's Ark. That was the news in England, Ipswich. Obviously, to the right, you can see I've been talking lately about Soon Am I, as was in that movie with Ryan Reynolds. But there you see the waves. The waves. But does it mean that this is going to be a literal thing? Just because all the magazines and everything else have, Trump submerged in water and other people submerged in water. Does that mean that's going to be the thing? I don't know. But I do know that the story of Noah's Ark is, there's a lot more to it than you've been told. And I'd like to share a little bit with you, if at all possible. I'm just going to come on over to the chat, just make sure that everybody can still hear me okay. Still, we're doing good. They wouldn't be doing all of this stuff with the asteroid redirect system and all that. They wouldn't be doing these things if they weren't concerned about something. All these CEOs that, step down, right? All the big stories about all the bunkers, the DUMBs, the deep underground mansion bunkers. It's all very exciting. Because I'll tell you the truth. Like, say, I have great faith. I really do. It's the only thing that's my rock. That's why I'm not really that concerned. I'm actually kind of excited. I'm kind of like, when nothing's happening, I'm going, what? I'm like expecting something to happen. I'm expecting things to happen. I just don't know what they are yet, and I don't know when they're coming because, of course, nobody knows the day or the hour, the Lord says. But I do know that Christ is being revealed more and more and more because that's what happens in the days of Noah. Now, ironically, I had said the days of Noah were here. They were here. I already said it. I said the days of Noah were here. That wasn't it wasn't like I was saying it's a future thing. The days are now, but you got to build the ark. Years ago, I was saying, start building the ark. It's going to take a while to build the ark, right? He gave him some time, and we've had some time, and we still have some time to build that ark, to build it, seal it up real good. We do. It's gopher wood, right? What's weird is that I saw a bunch of memes with gophers, which is weird because I didn't make the connection until just now. All right, so let me get over here. Let me show you this essay that do I not even have it? Okay, let me pull this up. I'll tell you what. Give me a second. I forgot I shut down my computer and redid everything so that I wouldn't lose anybody, Okay, give me 1 second. Jacob, Israel. Oh, you know what I should do? Let me do this. I come over here. Let me just show you something so you can get an idea of what it's like to be me. All right. We're going to go to Google. All right. We're going to type in Jacob Israel website. Let's see if it comes up. That'll be nice because supposedly, there we go. Faith. Okay. And we're going to come on over here. I'm going to type in Noah. Like if you want to learn about stuff, right? You just come to my website. And then, of course, you can do all these things if you want, I have a lot of essays. Just to give you an example, I've been writing for years. So please don't anybody ever tell me that you don't study the scriptures and that you're not into the things of God. I mean, this is like I had a passion for this, and I did it for years, and then one day it all just made sense. It's kind of like I have the archive now. Then I got the novel, now I got the YouTube channel. So like all the hard work, that's done. Like all of those essays, they're there, you know? People tell me I should put them together in books. Maybe I should. Maybe one day I will. But right now they're there. It's a resource. You know, you can go deeper. You can go deeper. So this essay is going to really open your eyes to a little bit. Okay, I'm not going to read it all because it does take it takes a long time. But this is what I wanted to really focus on. Of every clean beast, animal, right? Thou shalt take thee by sevens, the male and the female. And the beasts that are not clean by two. By two. Okay, so let me pull up Bible Gateway. And let's go to Genesis, I believe it's 6. Am I guessing correctly? So these are the generation Noah. Okay, so we know his, okay. He was a just man and he was perfect. That just means whole in his faith. He was not perfect. You know, he was, I mean, like he got drunk and like passed out naked and his sons found him. All right. After the flood and all that stuff, after God spared him, they planted a vineyard and he just got drunk. He got so wasted and he was nude. That's a true story. But it just means he was whole and complete in his generations. He was, he was he's a boss. He was doing all right. Most people weren't. And that was the problem of the day, was that everybody seemed to be corrupt. God said to Noah, "The end of all flesh is come before me. For the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood and rooms." Okay, we understand that he's going to build the ark. He's doing all this stuff. "Behold, even I, I'm going to bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die. But with thee I'll establish a covenant, and you'll come into the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort you shall bring into the ark." That's the unclean, 2, and then 7 of the clean. Fowls of the air, same thing. Okay? So Noah did this according to all of it. But what is it that he was really talking about? Because see, there's an allegory here. 2 is symbolic of duality. 7 is, of course, completion. Why would we bring them both into the ark? Why did he say to plant the wheat and the tares together? A lot of people think that when you hear of these animals, it's like we're talking about literal animals as opposed to like an animal nature, if you will. Let me come on over here. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll just I'll share the story as I remember. You look at a fox, you think, oh, it's sneaky, right? Proverbs, don't let the little fox spoil the vine. I believe it's a proverb. The fox, you tell that fox, you know, when he was talking about one of the leaders in the town who was sly, sneaky, you tell that fox, bring the fox into the ark, clean and unclean. Bring the bulls, bring the ox, bring the lions, bring the doves. All symbolic of different natures within the heart of man. The word ark itself speaks of us. It speaks of us. The flood that comes upon us in the ark, do you know what happens at the end of this journey? The 2 are sacrificed. The clean remain, but the duality is gone by the end of the journey. Isn't that strange? He's supposed to give a sacrifice at the very end. So here we have a picture of what God is going to do for all of us. For all of us. Within us, there is conflicted thinking, right? We have good thoughts, we have bad thoughts. At the end of this journey, we're going to be able to reconcile them all. It's a beautiful thing. When the flood comes upon the earth, it's not a good thing. Not a lot of people were left. Not a lot of people were left. And I said the flood was already here. So we could possibly deduce that if it was a flood that was going to be having some kind of literal effect, we could see a lot of people pass away, God forbid. But the flesh that needs to be destroyed is, that egotistical nature within us. The one that's hateful, the one that's filled with pride and fear. That's really what this whole thing is about. And that's why we shouldn't be too stressed out when even I come on here and I say, hey, take a look at this thumbnail. It's a stressful thumbnail. As it was in the days of Noah. As it was in the days of Noah. This is a strange thing. Let me pull this up. So will it be in the day of the Son of Man. Let me read you this chapter. Because I really think that this is a great message for all of us for today. And I think that by the end of it, hopefully you will get something out of it. Let me just read this to you one time, then we'll get out of here. Then Christ said to his disciples, it's impossible. Listen to this, because when you make a mistake, it's not game over time. It's impossible, but that offenses will come. We're going to make mistakes, but woe to those who it comes through. This is why we should be on our game a little bit more, right? We're going to be corrected for the things that we do wrong. But at this point in time, at the moment we're in right now, it would be better for him to have a millstone hanging around his neck and he's cast into the sea than he should offend one of these little ones. And by little ones, I mean people of the faith. We're not just talking about little children. We're talking about people that are new to the faith. Because God is the only thing that's real, right? God is the only thing that matters. So, of course, if someone is coming to the knowledge of God and then someone comes over and offends them and attacks them, you're destroying the most important thing there is. That's why it's so important to be an encouraging light and not someone who tears down. If you think somebody's wrong, find a better way to help them. Help them. Don't shame them. Don't tear them down. Take heed to yourself. This is appropriate. If your brother trespasses against you, rebuke him. Go in private. This is what I do. When people sometimes say some nasty things about me or make mistakes, I privately say, hey, you've hurt my feelings. Hey, this is where I think you've done wrong. I consider you to be a person that would know better, and I hope that you can handle me just sharing how this made me feel. And I forgive you. That's what I do. And that's what you should do too. And if he trespasses against you, how many times, people? 7. 7 times. If he does this 7 times in a day, turn again and say, I repent. Then you forgive him. And the apostle said to the Lord, increase our faith. We want to do this. And the Lord said, if you had faith, the grain of a mustard seed, you'd say to this sycamine tree, be plucked up by the root and cast into the sea, and it'll obey you. All this is great symbolism. But which of you, having a servant plowing or feeding cattle, will say to him by and by, when he has come from the field, go and sit down to eat? And will you not rather say, make ready wherewith I may sup, gird thyself and serve me, till I've eaten, and afterward shall I drink and eat? In other words, it's like today, people, we got it all backwards. When you're being served, when people are, come on, let me just go over here and let me tell you. When you're being served freely, which of you says to the person who's given to you, come sit down, let me take care of you. What do you want something to eat? How many of you? Many of you, I think, are like that. But in the world today, this is not the way it is. They just want to be served all the time. And the greatest of all is the servant of all. But there comes a time where you have to realize you got to be better. You got to be better. Today's the day, because some things may be coming. And it's better to be ready, right? So likewise, when you shall have all these things done which are commanded you, say, we're unprofitable servants. We've done we're doing what you said. We say the prayers. We do the stuff, right? Don't you complain? And it came to pass. So Jesus, he went to Jerusalem, and he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee, and he entered a certain village, and there met him 10 lepers. And what does he do? You know the story, right? He casts them out. How many of them came back? I think it was just like one. My point is, he says to the disciples, the days will come when you're going to desire to see the days of the Son of Man. Okay, so like a lot of people are like, okay, Christ, where are you? Where are you? This is the day we're in. The day has come. Where are you, Lord? It's getting spooky down here. And you shall not see it. Let me say that again. And he said to his disciples, the days will come when you shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and you shall not see it. And they shall say to you, look here or look there, but go not after them. In other words, don't put your faith in these people that you think are heroes, that you think are offering you salvation. For as lightning that lightens one part of heaven to the other, shines to the other, so shall the Son of Man be in his day. It's a day of awakening, a day of enlightenment. It's like the truth. It comes, lightning, when it strikes, it lights things for a brief period of time. You can see things. It's revelation. But first must suffer many things and be what? Rejected. And when God is rejected in a generation, guess what happens? Here comes the flood. Here comes the flood. And so, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. Eating and drinking, marrying wives, giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark and the flood came. And the flood came. And the flood came. Do you know what Noah means? It's time to get Noah in the ark. Rest. Noah means rest. Rest in the ark. Rest is in the ark. When the flood comes, you're okay. So, that's a little bit of the story of Noah's Ark. If you want more, will you do me a favor? Just, go to my website. It's free. Enjoy it. I mean, that's why I wrote all this stuff. It's not like I put it out there for my health. I put it out there so that it could be a blessing to people. I want to be a blessing to people. I want you all to be blessed. I want you all to know that there is more to life than what you've been told. I'm not a perfect man. I haven't met anybody like me. So when I come on here and I share these things with you, and sometimes people are like, oh, here he goes again saying, oh, look what he said, and then there it is, and he's just bringing up the past, and he's showing. I do this so that you can, for a second, lay aside the possibility that it's chance. How can it be chance time and time and time again? How? Somehow, whether people are watching, whether they're not watching, that's besides the point. Things are being showed and revealed, and then they're shared, and they're happening. Now it's coming in almost real time. So, things are speeding up, spiritually speaking. I think that from Noah's day on, life was pretty good. If you're in the ark, you're going to be okay. If you're trusting in God, you're going to be okay. If you have a problem with your brother, talk to him. If you have a problem with your sister, talk to them. Forgive them. Hopefully they do the same. And if they don't, you can forgive them. Guess what that means? There should never, ever, ever, never be an end to your forgiveness. Do you think God is going to have an end to his? No. You think anything you've done is too much? No. You'll pay the price. I want to be clear. Religion will teach you, you can make your bed, but you don't have to sleep in it, right? You can make your bed any way you want, and you got to sleep in it. God works it all together for the good. In other words, if you make a mistake, you're going to pay the price. You're going to pay the price. It's not like you can just at the end of your life, unless you repent. If you repent, that's when you forgive them. If they repent, you forgive them. How many times? They have to repent to be forgiven. You have to repent to be forgiven. You have to say, I don't want to be a drug addict anymore. I don't want to be an alcoholic anymore. I don't want to be a deadbeat parent anymore. I don't want to be, a terrible jerk off. I don't want, whatever you want. I don't want to be a fearful person anymore. I don't want to be a hateful person anymore. I want to be free. Speak the words of truth. God offers you love. The kingdom of heaven is righteousness, peace, and joy. Rest comes into the ark. Once rest is there, flood's going to come. You're going to be okay. But you got to repent. So I'm asking all of you to do better. Try better. Try better. Try harder. Because life is worth it. And I'm excited for the days to come. Not too scared. I really hope that the meteors are not meteors. I really hope that it's like just great revelation from the heavens. But I don't think enough people are paying attention. So something's got to get their attention, right? All right. I love y'all. I don't know if I missed anybody in the chat. I apologize. Do me a favor. Got the holidays coming up, right? Christmas for some. Everybody's got a holiday. Get yourself a copy of the novel. This is a great gift. Get it. You can get it. The links are in the description below. All of the merch and the buckle up, the new buckle up shirt is there. All of these things, they help me. They really do, and I'm grateful. You might as well, if you want to do something like that. The book, I make like 75 cents a book or something. Everything is so expensive. It's really sad that we don't get to make more, but my goodness. I've got like 1,000 reviews already, so I'm grateful. I love you all, okay? Let me go, and I'm going to try to get to you again soon, very, very shortly. Hope everything's good, and tell me in the comment section what you thought of the show. Don't forget, links are in the description of the video. Click more, check to make sure